Hey everyone, Prox here. If you're watching this, you probably already know that Special Customers won Schedule 1's third community vote. Tyler initially said the update is targeted for a June or July release, but with this being an art-heavy update, I'm not surprised we're already approaching the late end of that prediction. It's looking more like late July or August at this point, but consider this your chance to start preparing while you still can. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what we know about the Special Customers update, what it actually means for our operations, and how I've set up my endgame to be ready for whatever Tyler throws at us. First, a quick recap of what the Special Customers update entails. This update will introduce traveling customer groups like bikers, businessmen, hippies, and party buses. These groups will occasionally pass through Highland Point and order bulk quantities of product from us at slightly reduced rates. Each group will have one or two preferred drug types, and given the large size of these orders, having a healthy stockpile ready before they arrive isn't optional, it's essential. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Thanks to Big Willie's recent leak video, we now know that a special customer group will visit approximately once per week. We also learned we'll be able to buy some type of cosmetic item from them that we can't get anywhere else, which adds some nice non-financial incentive for us to be prepared. And lastly, not only will groups have preferred drug types, but each time they come through town, they'll request different effects. Providing them drugs with these effects nets a big bonus for us, so this makes mixing very important to get the most out of this update. This update may look small on the surface, but it actually changes a lot for the endgame. Since each group will have their preferences, we can assume all drugs will be covered. So let's put our stereotypical hats on for a moment. Since Big Willie confirmed the 4 included groups, I'm going to go out on a limb and say hippies will want weed, bikers meth, businessmen cocaine, and shrooms for the party bus. That means all drugs could be in demand in bulk and with short notice at any time. This means ideally we'll want large supplies of drugs available at all times. Now the fun part. Setting up your properties in a way that allows you to build up your drug stockpiles as easily and efficiently as possible. Next, I'll explain the best way I've found to accomplish this, but I would love to hear from other veterans in the comments on how you use your properties differently. Since the motel room and sewer office aren't allowed employees, I use them as storage. These two properties lined wall to wall with huge storage closets provide tons of storage space. Next, the sweatshop, with its 1 employee limit, makes for a perfect packaging hub. I use this property to package drugs into baggies and jars for my personal dealing. Next up, the stash and dash. While the name and centralized location of the storage unit would make it perfect for that, the size and 3 employees actually make it the ideal mixing station. This compact 4-station setup mixes 12 bricks daily like clockwork. A 4-ingredient mix can be automated with deliveries from both gas marts, but going beyond 4 ingredients can turn the game into a shelf restocking simulator experience that just isn't fun for most people. Mixing at a separate location makes automation and setup of your other farms much easier and more flexible. The only downside to this method is having to transport your raw product to the mixing station. I make this easy by getting everything bricked to avoid needing the Vapor, and then I break it down at the mixing station. Once the hireable drivers update arrives, there will be no need to brick anything that isn't the final product. We can just have our drivers transport the raw product from our farms to the mixing station. Next, we have one of my favorite properties, the bungalow. I like to use the bungalow to produce both shrooms and meth. Since these 2 drugs are usually in less demand than weed and coke, I switch the bungalow up between the 2 as needed. The shroom build I use averages about 20 bricks per day, and the meth build produces about 9 bricks per day, so it's set to meth more often than not. Shrooms seem to only be popular with a handful of customers, but hopefully we can push more when the hippies come to town. Now let's move on to Weed Central, aka the barn. I'd like to say that my weed barn is always running, but considering it pumps out up to 35 bricks a day, I would run out of space pretty quick if that were the case. I definitely can't sell that much in Highland Point daily, but hopefully this update will help with that. If you're interested in seeing a full breakdown of how I built and optimized this barn, let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about the real moneymaker, the cocoa warehouse. It seems the warehouse was created with cocaine production in mind because it's just perfect for it. It will be even more perfect in the future when we can ship drugs overseas by container ship right out of our back door. Tyler, please. But I digress. Code takes a ton of money to get going and lots of money still to resupply each time, but boy is it worth it. Stored product does count towards net worth, so even if you're producing a lot more than you can sell, it's not just collecting dust on the shelf. The bottleneck in my build is the runtime of the cauldrons and ovens. I get 12 bricks per day consistently, but a nice surplus of leaves builds up every couple of days. More on that point in the next section. Last but definitely not least, we have the manor, the Benzie's old stomping grounds. I like to use the manor for three things: my personal residence, a second mixing setup, and a second optional set of cauldrons and ovens. As I mentioned in the last section, my warehouse setup produces a lot more coca leaves than can be cooked. With this second set of cooking equipment, every 2 or 3 days you can transport the surplus coca leaves to the manor to be cooked. Again, totally optional, but a nice option to have to increase coke output or just have something to do to pass the time while your empire automatically runs itself. Well, close enough anyway. The extra mixing setup is perfect for doubling your daily mixing output and will come in handy for quickly mixing drugs with the special customers' requested effects. The downside is the limit on deliveries. It requires both gas-mart deliveries consistently to keep the storage unit mixing station running. To avoid hindering that, you have to stock this extra one at the manor yourself. So, bottom line, to get ready for this update, diversify your production, keep a healthy stockpile of every drug, have at least one, if not two, mixing stations ready to go for the special customers' orders, and make sure your properties are set up to run as efficiently as possible. The special customers will be a nice source of additional income for players with the extra product to spare, and the time to prepare is now. And there you have it. Everything you need to know to be ready when the special customers pull up. I also showed you how I like to run my empire in the endgame. I would love to hear your feedback and thoughts on how you prefer to run yours in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in Highland Point.